The Core of Discovery by L.J. Martin. A president named Jefferson, he had a big dream. It would take special men who could act as a team. Jefferson picked Lewis. Lewis picked friend Clark. From a camp named Dubois, now to make their mark. You could search for an answer, then find at your feet men who will not stop till the country's complete. Men like cougars, tough, strong, who'll live off the land, who work together, forged as a team they'll stand. The Louisiana Purchase had double the size, but a route to the Pacific, now Jefferson's prize. The Core of Discovery was the chosen name, 45 souls with luck destined for fame. Cook, Dupois, McKenzie teased at the goal, but the route itself was an unknown black hole. 45 brave men and a dog named Seaman, a Newfoundland hound that could be a demon. A keelboat, 2 pirogues, packed bow to stern, flora, fauna, tribes en route, so much to learn. Into the unknown they pushed off from shore. 45 and a hound made up the core. It was May of '04 and the water ran high. Upstream was a feat, with death always nigh. Not long on Big Mo, Sergeant Charles Floyd died. Did this foretell of more? Many corpsmen cried. But on they charged into a muddy, roiling river. Jefferson's prize they were determined to deliver. They reached the Great Plains, bison, elk, and deer. For many a day hunger pains were nothing to fear. The first to say no passage were the powerful Sioux, but the Corps bowed backs and pressed on through. With winter's first gale built a fort named Mandan. They survived in good stead, losing only one man. At Mandan, Lewis hired guide Charbonneau. More important was what his wife would know. His young wife, Sajikawea, even ripe with child, would lead the Corps and help conquer the wild. An expedition with a young handsome girl said peace where hate and suspicion whirl. The Mandans taught lessons that eased. The Corps headed upriver, more than pleased. The Mandans proved friends, helpful and kind. From the burden of winter, now it was grind. Now it was sweat, walk, pull, and row. Few forces on earth top spring's mighty mow. Sandbars, log jams, snags, say you damn fools. With strong backs, determination, your only tools. The good was plains, buffalo, ducks, and deer. The bad was in every way, danger was near. With flora and fauna, they sent the keelboat home. Now with pirogue and canoes, they would roam. Now to the heart of darkness, the total unknown. Hope and fear was with them, deep to the bone. For Lewis, this unknown was a lifelong dream. Country, he said, beautiful in the extreme. Grass belly deep, buff and precious beaver, walk, paddle, and pull, advance now a fever. Almost daily a new discovery, flora and fauna. To explorer Lewis, the plains were nirvana. West, west, now the Corps a fine-tuned team. Now the wide Yellowstone, on the left abeam. But Jefferson instructed, follow Mo to the end, and west was the result. bend after wide bend. With each discovery, Lewis made careful notes. Now with iced paddles, charged on in small boats. They decided it propitious to abandon the canoe and charged on afoot, the path ahead always askew. Through mud called gumbo they'd slip, slide, and fall, but hardened by long row and trek, they all stood tall. A slippery gumbo precipice had Lewis near death. It seemed new danger near with every ragged breath. But birds, robin, thrush, goldfinch, blackbird, and wren, flat land more beautiful than ever seen by these men. On up the river they killed 4 elk, barrels of meat. For a long good while the Corps had plenty to eat. Then glory, a view of the Rockies covered with snow. Among all, the belief in their task continued to grow. Now the great falls, Lewis said, a sight to behold. Now, afoot, a steep hard climb ahead only foretold. Lewis prayed for the Shoshone and herds of horses, for across the Rockies they'd know all the courses. To Lewis's surprise, against all that he had been told, it was falls after falls. Again, a spectacle to behold. His journal said, pleasingly beautiful, sublimely grand. Then he was charged by buffalo. He made a brave stand, reminded again that in the wild were constant dangers. Reminded again, here all the Corps were strangers. With 5 falls in the river, it was a great portage. But thank the Lord, good health, with food no shortage. Then the girl, Sajikawea, fell terribly feverishly ill. Valuable to the Corps' cure took all of Lewis's skill. With a babe to suckle and the Corps to lead west, healthy again, she marched on, babe to her breast. The portage challenged even hardy Corps men. Toughest trek yet, Lewis recorded on paper with pen. All this long way they'd hauled a rigid steel frame, now to sew a hide cover, a boat the river to tame. To his great chagrin, when launched, the boat failed. Best laid plans of men, ease of advance curtailed. Not easily thwarted, a copse of cottonwood found, trees large enough to carve canoes, safe and sound. Now the Missouri became 3 forks, acclaimed. Madison, Gallatin, and Jefferson by Lewis named. Known to the maid as it was here she was captured. So close to home, no doubt, now totally enraptured. Blessed by the Lord, the chief of the first tribe found was Sajikawea's brother, a coincidence renowned. With herds of horses, for baubles willing to trade, and a guide who knew a route across, they prayed. Sajikawea had again proved her worth pure gold. With babe in hand, none of the men were more bold. But the Rockies ahead proved a formidable test. Lay over the winter in a spot named Traveler's Rest. For baubles, the Shoshones traded for horses and provided a guide who knew mountain courses. Then the Bitterroots, 11 days of pure hell. Deep snow, horses, and men stumbled and fell. Steep country, deep creeks, rocks, blowing snow. For the very first time, they feared nowhere to go. Then the Shoshone guide came through the Lolo Trail. Then the Nez Perce knew horses they cannot fail. Across the wide snake, the hope of sound boats, it must lead to the Pacific. New hope of easy floats. Now they learn to make canoes by burning. A short stay for the wide Pacific new yearning. The gentle snake, no hiking ahead, easy floats. Into the wide Columbia, thank God, with new boats. In places a glorious half-mile from side to side. To the Pacific, kick back, a flat easy ride. But soon they discovered wild rapids ahead. This close to success, they could all be dead. Falls, short, narrow, some dangerous and long, but good food, good rest, and all were strong. They portaged, carrying heavy boats around. Again they were convinced, the Pacific bound. November 7th, 05, oh joy, tide changes in view. And they thought easy living, if they only knew. Hostile Indians, constant fog, nights soaking wet. They hoped rest and food, but now constant fret. But soon with new vigor they were headed home. Familiar paths, even then they decided to roam. Lewis one way, Captain Clark another path. After all, discovery, sure fame, the aftermath. They met again far down the great Missouri. Safe, they'd face the far west in all her fury. A great adventure. They only lost one man, only shot one savage against their plan. Oh, history, the core, what an epic story. For Jefferson and Corps, nationwide glory. One country, forever, from sea to shining sea. A country Jefferson and God meant to be. Sadly, damn French brought pox to the West. Comely lasses in villages brought needed rest. Clark would be successful, happy and wed. Soon Lewis, infected, by his own hand dead. A sad ending for a 2-year magnificent tale. A trek most said was destined, would surely fail. But a country forever on, from sea to shining sea. A country God and President Jefferson meant to be. A Corps of Discovery by Jefferson directed. A country for all, Corps and Jefferson perfected. It matters. Leaders Lewis, Clark, and the Corps left a trail 8,000 miles none can ignore. Lewis said, when sighting the Pacific, "Oh, glory! It's a tale all should revere, for all a proud story." They were men, hound, brave lady and baby, who faced the unknown with hope and a maybe. So around the campfire, or a full supper table, it's a true tale to tell, better than any liar's fable. Copyright 2022 L.J. Martin.